Hi, I'm Helen, and thank you for tuning in to Stage, Screen, and In Between. Each week I'll be interviewing people from the entertainment industry who work in the scenes and behind the scenes. Also, what they do in between time, what their hobbies are, what they like to do, and what they may have had to overcome to keep on going. Aside from entertainment, we'll also see people that are involved in medicine, sports, politics, you name it. So tune in each week because I'll be full of surprises. Don't miss us. Hello, and welcome to Stage, Screen, and In Between. I'm Helen. Today I have as my guest the amazing Fran Capo, the 6-time world record holder. She is the fastest talking female in the world. She can say 11 words in a second, and she's a motivational speaker, a comedian, a travel adventurer mom, an author, voiceover artist, race car driver, kayaker, and on and on and on. I'm going to let you say it because there's so much, Fran. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, you know what it is? I just love life. And I always look at life as like a buffet table. So, you can take a little of this, a little of this, a little of this. You don't want to keep eating the same thing all the time, and you only want to eat things that are good for you. So you just live life to the fullest and enjoy and go out there and grab stuff.
I know you enjoy, but you also give back. Fran was just with the military in Korea. Do you want to say something?
Oh yeah. This was really cool. I did 12 shows in 17 days. We were in South Korea, not North. I did ask that up front. And we literally toured. We were with the National Mom Tour for our Armed Forces Entertainment. And we went to the DMZ zone, which is where, the line is. The North Korean soldiers are facing South Korea. And for 1 minute, I was actually standing in North Korea, and I'm like, I better not be pulled out that door. But I got to tell you something. The soldiers, I have a son, and the soldiers are like younger than my son.
And hard to believe.
Yeah, and they are such good kids, and it's so good to give back. To be able to do that. One base actually said they hadn't had entertainment there for 7 years. Wow. And we went all the way to the tip of Korea, and now I stay in touch with a lot of the soldiers. And I know we're going to be talking about it later, but I do have a book, Hopeville, the City of Light. And for every soldier who wanted it, I give an e-copy of the book to.
You know what really fascinates me is somewhere you've been that I've always wanted to go was the Titanic. You went down to the Titanic?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's like everything in life, like somebody would say, you want to do this? And I'm like, well, how can we make it bigger? And I had done a book signing at the top of Kilimanjaro. Right? And people
Did you get a lot of people there to get their books signed?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, because you think, like, who's at the top?
Just a pen right upside down type of thing?
Well, when you get to the top, you're at the top of Kilimanjaro, and you're sitting on this mountain, and it was minus 15 degrees, 45-mile-an-hour winds.
Isn't it hard to breathe?
Well, no, it's hard to do things fast. You can breathe
normally. And that would really bother her.
Yeah, right, exactly.
She's the fastest talker in the world.
Exactly, exactly. Because if you run, like, from here to, like, just like 10 feet and you forget, it's like having a sock in your mouth and a clothespin on your nose.
Nice.
So trying to get there. So that picture of me doing a book signing at the top of Kilimanjaro, and to answer your question, people would come to the top and I'm like, you're here at the top, what are you doing? Buy a book. So, stand online, buy a book. And then that picture circulated around the world, and Brian Day O'Connor, Sandra Day O'Connor's son, emailed me out of the blue and said, I think it's fantastic that you climbed Kilimanjaro.
Wow.
P.S. I'm going down to the Titanic. And so I said,
that's a date, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and I was like,
I'm going on a date. I'm taking you to the Titanic.
Yeah, well, I should have made him pay. It was a lot of money. I should have made him pay $35,000 just to go down. Now it's $65,000 if you want to go down.
Inflation, even with the Titanic.
Well, exactly. You gotta have gas. You gotta get gas to get down.
Aren't you nervous? I mean, it's exciting to do, but boy, is that scary.
No, but Helen, this is the thing. Like, when I decide I want to do something, I have this attitude of, fear nothing, but if you do it anyway. And so, yeah, you're 2.5 miles down. There's 16 tons of pressure on every inch of the submersible. So if God forbid something went wrong and they put like a little pinprick in the window, you got like slice it like a laser. Go down and it was just like in the mirror, just like in the movie The Titanic that you see.
Yes.
You know, you've seen The Titanic, right?
Yes, that's many times.
Who hasn't, right?
Yes.
And so do you remember the guy with the salt and pepper hair that when they open the safe and they think that the stone is in there and comes out and he goes, no diamonds. And you know, that guy is Anatoly Salgovich. He's the one that designed the mirror to go down.
Wow.
And so it was me with the heavy New York accent, a Russian woman with the heavy accent, the Russian guy with the heavy accent, and a Japanese woman with a heavy accent. It's like the United Nations going down there, you know? And we get down and it's 500 feet, just 500 feet down, total darkness. When you get down there, you see the bow of the ship, and the Japanese woman, and I love Japanese women, but she goes like this, me number one Japanese to go down. And he's like, yeah, we get it. And she's going, I want to take picture. And he's like, you took 1,000 pictures of the bow. And she's like, no, I need to take more pictures. And so she goes, I have an idea. We back up, we take picture whole ship. He's like, no one ever take picture whole ship, too big. And she's like, no, we back up. He goes, I tell you what, next time I put you outside submarine. And she's like, okay, I'm like, he wants to kill you.
So in 15 minutes, I go. Okay, how am I feeling? A little nervous, a little anticipatory, hoping I don't have to go to the bathroom. I've gone like 7 times this morning. Really excited. Last year, July 10th at this time, I was climbing Kilimanjaro. Now it's July 10th, and I'm going down the total opposite way, down to the bottom of the sea. Whoa, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
The Titanic bow lies 2.5 miles down at the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean. The one still picture I was able to get of me with the Titanic. Captain Smith's cabin. All that's left, a tub.
Now we are going a little down.
A third-class porthole window. Look at the rusticles that formed. A first-class window on deck C. Look at the albino sea life. Piping in the stern section. The Titanic's propeller is buried in the sea floor. A cup with White Star insignia lies in between the broken stern and bow, which is 1,970 feet apart.
I'm here at the Titanic with Adrenaline Adventures, the same book that was at the top of Kilimanjaro. I'm now doing a book signing to Anatoly, who is our pilot. Dear Anatoly.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's wonderful book.
Ripley's, believe it or not, one of my sponsors. Me and Anatoly and Masai will be in the Ripley's book next year because I did a book signing down at the Titanic. The blue pendant is shown because I told my mom I would bring this down here for her when I was at the Titanic. This is a prayer that was given to me from the U.S. Navy chaplain. Now at the site of the ship, although the physical bodies of the 15-17 victims have long departed, the souls continue to cry out to us from the depths of the sea. They haunt our minds with their story, so we ask you, God, to long lay to rest those passengers. At the bottom of the ocean. Back on the Keldish, and then I can go to the bathroom. It was great. You guys are gonna love it.
But aside from your adventurous attitude, you're also a very good actress, and you're in a movie called Sunday. You had been, right? It won the Sundance?
It actually won Sundance.
Yes.
I won the grand prize in Sundance.
Yes.
But that's not the only. I've done. It's like 15 or 20 movies, all on IMDb.
Right.
I've done. Not that we're doing stats here, but I mean, I have done.
And recently you were just on the Meredith Vieira show.
Yes, and that was cool. I was doing. I'm not allowed to say what until it airs.
Right.
But I was doing something in response to the fact that a video I had done with my fast talking had gone viral.
Wow.
So I was on, Time Magazine, Huffington Post, Yahoo News.
Right. How did that all start with the fast talking?
With the fast talking or the video?
What year was it that you broke the record?
Well, the way that it started was I was working at WBLS FM radio in New York City, and I was doing stand-up comedy. And then kidding around, I said, you know what, I could do a really cool impression of Mae West. So the guy, and you've done radio, so you know how like when they fling the weather and traffic copy, the little red tally light comes on. So I see the light come on, and all of a sudden I'm like, let's see the weather and traffic is.
You did that so good.
Thank you. And you're the blonde. You should be able to do that, right? And so I you know, the weather and traffic. So then she hears, this lady from the Daily News hears me doing it, says, you know, hey, I'm doing story weather and traffic people. How long you been doing it? And so I didn't want to tell her like 30 seconds. So you know, so I've been doing it for a while. So what are you planning to do next? Kidding around, set breaking world record. She prints it in the paper. The very next day, the Larry King Live people call me up and ask me to go on the show and break the record. Honestly, I know this is embarrassing. I didn't know who Larry King was.
Oy.
Yeah, I heard cable, and I was like, is this some kind of porn thing?
But you broke it in 1986 and then again in 1990?
I broke the record first time on Larry King Live show, right, 1996, and then 1986, and then I rebroke it on the Guinness Museum in Vegas on June 5th, 1990. Doing, first time was 585 words a minute, and the second time was 603.32 words in 54.2 seconds, which comes out to 11 words a second.
Wow, amazing. Now, I understand you're also going to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Do you think you're going to be a millionaire?
Okay, but here's the deal about this. Because that video went viral, and the way that it happened was some guy had taped some skit on me, and 3 years later he edits it, and then puts a thing on the internet. World's fastest talker reads 3 Little Pigs in under, 15 seconds. It goes viral. I don't even know it goes viral. I get a call, hey, congratulations for being on the show. I'm like, what are you talking about? Hey, congratulations. I'm like, so I call my son, Spence, what are they talking about? He's like, Mom, there's articles about you in Vietnam, Croatia, Scandinavia, Switzerland.
Worldwide.
Yeah, and so then all of a sudden I started getting calls from all these shows, and one of them happened to be Millionaire. And I'm like, I'm not really good in trivia. And then I had to take a test, because they make every contestant take a test.
Yes.
And I passed.
I took the test, I couldn't get on.
Oh, did
It's
you?
very hard. It's very hard, the test.
I was.
I don't know if different days it varies, and sometimes it's easier than others, but I didn't make it.
Oh, so did they call you, or you had tried out to?
They tell you right there.
Yeah, so
They tell you right there I got cut.
Yeah, so I had done that, and I answered 10, and
Yeah,
whatever.
there's different parts to it.
Exactly.
Like I moved on a certain
And then I got
amount,
asked
and
another
then
series of
I was
questions.
asked to leave.
Yeah. Listen, there's no embarrassment in that.
It's hard. So I give credit to anybody who was on that show. Because
Well, I haven't been on it yet. Well, yeah.
Did you take the test?
I had to take the test.
Yeah, and you passed the test?
I passed it, 2 tests, not just one. I had to pass 2.
Yeah.
Passed
Right,
2
right.
tests, and we'll see what happens. I gotta find someone really smart. That's my
Now,
lifeline.
you just saw legendary Jerry Lewis. Tell us about that.
I am a friar. I'm a newly inducted friar at the Friars Club.
And they renamed it.
And they renamed not the Friars Club, but the building,
Okay.
the Jerry Lewis Monastery.
Oh.
So in honor of Jerry
He
Lewis.
deserves that homage. He's
He's
done so
so much.
much
Yeah.
good, and he's so funny.
And so there he was, with the ribbon cutting, and of course everybody who's who was out
Oh,
at
I
the
can
event.
imagine.
Gilbert Godfrey was there, Lisa Lampanelli, Bill Boggs,
Everybody.
the guy, from Sopranos, everybody was there.
Yeah. That's so wonderful. And so what about Jack and the Beanstalk and Red Riding Hood? Did we go over that yet?
No, because when my video went viral, it was just me talking the 3 Little Pigs, and people were like, do you have another? So I was like, you know what, instead of just talking the 3 Little Pigs, why don't I take another story like Red Riding Hood and act it out as fast as I talk. So if you go to my
You
website
acted it as well?
and I did the same thing with Jack and the
I can't
Beanstalk.
compete with that.
Yeah, and it's me like literally doing it and changing costumes and having a wolf attack me and putting a little red cape and the whole thing on. And so if you go to my website, Fran Capo, Capo, C-A-P-O, like head them up,
right.
and you go to francapo.com, you can see the Little Red Riding Hood and the Jack and the Beanstalk, which a lot of kids get a kick out of because it's visual,
Yes.
besides me just saying
Now,
it.
I'm looking at this book you have here. That's you're
Yes.
an author many times. I think that's your 18th book.
Yes.
Okay, and it's Hopeful, the City of Light. And what's that about?
Okay, here's the really cool thing about this. When you write a book, you decide that you want to, write a book. You consciously make a decision. One of the things that people don't know about me is, every morning I do gratitude and I,
It's important to be grateful. Yeah,
pray and things like
absolutely.
that. And what happened was, with this book, it's got an interesting backstory. At 4 o'clock in the morning, you sleep,
Yeah.
right? But if you know anything about spirit world, they always say 4 o'clock in the morning is when a lot of people get
I
their
never knew
inspiration.
that. I didn't know that.
Oh.
But you know what? It's so funny. I always wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I do, but I didn't know that there was a reason, especially lately.
But even when you listen to people like Da Vinci and people who get divine inspiration, it seems to always come around 4 o'clock. It's supposedly when the world is like most peaceful.
Yeah.
So 4 o'clock in the morning, I hear this voice, and now I think I'm dreaming.
And it says, write a book, write a book, write a book.
No, it literally said, get up, you have to write a book. So I'm thinking in my dream, I'm like, well, I'm already writing a book called Adrenaline Adventures. And they're like, no, you need to get up and write this book. And I go, I don't know what book you're talking about. I'm arguing with the voice. So I think I'm dreaming. I turn on the light, I look around, don't see anything, turn off the light. I was like, must have been dreaming. Voice very persistent. You need to write a book. It's called Hope for the City of Light.
They even
And
gave you the title?
I'm telling you, no.
Wow, your spirits are more helpful than mine are.
No, this is a very, it's a very strict story. And it's a book about hope, love, peace, and fulfilling your dreams. I, that same day, went out. I had to get my car fixed, drop my kids to school, my mom said, I went out, and when I was I was starting to write Adrenaline Adventures because I was at a car shop. They were fixing my car for 3 hours. And then what happened was, I started to type Adrenaline Adventures, nothing happened. Helen, it was the weirdest thing. And then I was like, I'm not gonna sit here for 3 hours and do nothing. So
let's write a book.
No, it didn't even happen like that, no.
Okay.
I literally said, let me just write Hopeville, the City of Light, just the title. And I cannot tell you what happened for the next 3 hours. All I
You
know,
wrote that book in 3 hours?
yes, this is what I'm explaining to you.
Wow. That's
I
miraculous.
don't feel I wrote it. Because what happened was, as soon as I wrote the words, the end, the guy says to me, Fran, your car's ready, but that was the weirdest thing. You didn't move, you didn't breathe, you were just sitting there. And I said,
I got chills. The hair on my arms just stood up. Wow.
but I'm telling you, I did not know what the book was about. And it's about a widowed mother, a small boy who gets bullied, an old man who thinks life is, over, and a successful businessman. They all pray to an angel of light. She tells them a little something different to do, and they can change the town. This
Good,
book
let's
hit
do the movie.
It hit, yeah, well, exactly.
That's the movie.
Well, the book hit number 11 on Amazon as being compared to The Alchemist meets Think and Grow Rich. Yeah.
Wow, that's something else, really.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm very proud of this book, even though I can't say I really wrote it. It was more like divine guidance.
Right. Now, I also saw on the internet that you were involved with wolves and you camped out right near wolves. And how did you sleep? I could hear them howling and howling. I would be afraid that they would escape.
Well, one thing that everybody knows about, I love adventure.
Do you?
You think? Yeah. I've scaled castle walls, I Kilimanjaro, go down
I'm
to the
lucky I
Titanic.
could keep you sitting for
Exactly, for a second or two. And so I heard that you could sleep with the wolves. So I said to myself, let's go sleep with the wolves. He goes, I'll pay for you to go. I go, you're my son, you're coming. So we get there, and there's 21 wolves that they're trying to re-establish so they can put them into the wild.
Put them back into the wild.
And they're howling, and once one starts, the other one starts, and it's like a very peaceful and weird feeling at the same time. They were in behind cage. It was at the Wolf Conservatory in Westchester, so it's not like they're there, but you are sleeping there, and you do
That's
get
right,
the
in
feeling.
Westchester. I had no idea.
Yeah, right in Westchester. If people want to go,
They're not looking for homes for them.
well, they're looking to put them back in
They're gonna
the wild.
but they keep them there and they do that on their own. They don't farm them out for people that are trained to do that. Only they do that.
Only they do that, yes, and there's a lot of misconceptions about wolves. Yeah.
Right. So what else is on the horizon for you?
Well, I just got cast in a television show on called Housewives of Radio. We start taping.
That's ideal.
Yes, for me.
Ideal for
Not that
you,
I'm a
yes.
housewife, but but yeah, whatever.
You're on the radio.
And I'm a co-starring in it, and it will start to the season will start in spring of 2015.
Great. Great. Are you filming that in New York?
Yes, we are. And we're starting to film in January.
Now, how did you get that?
I was in a TV show. Did a guest spot in a TV show called Living in Exile, and the producer, who was one of the guys that came with me to South Korea, Jim Mendrinos,
Yes.
said, Fran, I didn't realize, I mean, I know you do stand-up and stuff like that. And he goes, I think you would be perfect. And we came up with this idea called Housewives of Radio. And we had, obviously, you know, there's a whole pitch process and, you know,
Yes.
pilot process and the whole
Right.
thing. So we did all that. And it got accepted by the network.
Great. Now, if somebody wants to reach you, how would they get a hold of you if they want to find out more?
The best way is to go to Fran Capo, F-R-A-N-C-A-P-O, francapo.com, and they can see the Red Riding video. They can buy the book, Hopeful the City of Light, perfect for Christmas.
Well,
and
I
autograph
think
it.
we're gonna break a minute and show a video, one of your videos. You have many right now.
Oh,
And
okay.
then we'll come back in a second, and then I'll say how you can reach me, and then I'm gonna take you somewhere where you've never been. 'Cause
Really?
I promised you something different today.
Yeah, she did. So let's see what this is. Okay.
This is Fran Capo, the Guinness Book of World Records fastest talking female, and welcome to Fran's Fast Fractured Fairy Tales. See, I said that slow. Today's fairy tale is Jack and the Beanstalk.
Once upon a time, a poor boy lived at home with his mother. All they owned was a cow which gave milk and they sold for money. One day, the old heifer came up bone dry. The mother told Jack to take the cow into town and sell it. No one wanted the lemon cow. One man offered Jack some magic beans in return for the cow. Jack took them and went home. His mother was furious, questioning him, "Are you my son of a living nightmare?" With that, she threw the beans out the window. It rained that night, and the next day, the magic beans had grown into a beanstalk that reached into the clouds and threw a hole in the ozone layer. Jack blamed the growth on acid rain. Jack climbed the stalk, better to climb it than have his mother tell him to chop that big monster down. It'd take a week to cut that thing. At the top, Jack was greeted by a giant woman. I'm telling you, this broad was big. I mean, if this woman broke wind in New York, you'd smell it in Cleveland. She offered Jack some food and told him to beware of her old man who likes to eat little people. Strange habit. It wasn't long before Jack heard, "Beep, bop, boop, bum, I smell the blood of an Englishman." Strange, and Jack was from Detroit. The giant continued, "Be he alive or be he dead, I crush his bones to make my bread." We suspect he was the first rap artist. The giant then took out a self-slaying magic harp and a hen that laid golden eggs. Soon the giant fell asleep. Jack grabbed the harp and the hen and did a Carl Lewis down the beanstalk. At the bottom, Jack pulled out his chainsaw and began cutting down the stalk. His mother came out and helped. You should have seen him swing that axe. The stalk fell as did the giant. He landed creating what is now called the San Andreas Fault. With the golden eggs, Jack and his mom bought a mansion in Akron and lived happily ever after. They didn't like harp music very much, though.
Hi, I'm Fran Capo, the Guinness Book of World Records fastest talking female, and welcome to Fran's Fast Fractured Fairy Tales. Today's story, can you guess, is Little Red Riding Hood.
Little Red Riding Hood. A few hundred years ago, there lived a little girl who always wore a red cape, so she was nicknamed Little Red Riding Hood, although she never actually rode anywhere. One day, her mother asked her to take a basket of goodies to her grandmother, who lived on the other side of the forest. The mother warned Red Riding Hood to be very careful in the forest, since there was a wicked old wolf that lived there. Oh yeah? So why the heck did she send her there in the first place? As usual, Red got lost, and who pops up to help her but the wolf? He wasn't hungry right then, so he gave Red precise directions. A regular Rand McNally, that wolf. The wolf regretted not munching on Little Red since he was going to miss dinner, so he decides to bolt over to Granny's for a quick snack. The wolf beat Red to Granny's house, but Granny was at her Wednesday canasta club, so it would just have to be Red for lunch. When Red opened the door and walked in, the wolf was wearing Granny's clothes. A little early for Halloween, but who's to say? Anyway, Red asked, "Why, Granny, what big eyes you have?" "It's my thyroid medicine makes them a little puffy." "Why, Granny, what big ears you have?" "All the better to hear the comps. I mean to hear you with, my dear." "Why, Granny, what big teeth you have?" "The better to eat you with." And with that, the wolf lunges up and grabs Little Red. Just as the wolf is ready to take a bite of her neck, the front door bursts open. In steps Iron Mike Tyson. He hits the wolf with a left and a right, and the wolf is dazed. Another short right and a left hook, and the wolf goes down. Iron Mike raises his hand in victory, takes the purse of Little Red, and splits in his Rolls Royce back to New York. Okay, it didn't happen that way. The door bursts open, and Little Red's dad shoots the wolf with a bow and arrow, and he drops dead. You happy now? They live happily ever after. I like the Tyson ending better.
How do you like that?
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And you can reach me at Stage, Screen, and In Between with Helen. That's my website.
Mhm.
Or you can be on Facebook with Stage, Screen, and In Between with Helen. Like me there.
I will like you. I already like you.
And I like you too. So, I'm going to take you now somewhere I promised, somewhere you've never been, and maybe you can break a world record where we're going. You ready?
Sure. Oh, but this is really cool. I cannot believe this. How did you arrange this?
You've never been to the moon before, Fran?
No, you're right. This is a place I have not been. This is so awesome.
Well, I know that if there's a shuttle, you'll be the first woman on it.
That's true. But now when we're ready here, and this was a very cheap way of coming, and I like that I can breathe here.
A lot cheaper than the Titanic. Why don't you try to break a world record right here?
All right. Well, listen. How about I do the three little pigs here?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me see if I can get a breath here on the moon. Okay. So cool. Okay. What's your tongue, the three little pigs? One little pig likes to sing, the second little pig likes to dance, the third little pig likes to sit and think. Then a big pig both go. Then a big the bee in. Huffing about my sister, huffing about. What's the next pig's house? Little pig the bee in. Huffing about what's the third pig's house? Little pig the bee in. Huffing about. Got so many climbing on the chimney. Pig said about boiling water, the wolf on the moon soup. Tomorrow, war and peace. There we go. First on the moon.
Another record, Fran Capo.
Ta-da! Forget about a flag. We got fast talking on the moon. So, this is great. Now, how do we get back?
I never thought of that.
Well, folks, you better send some money or a very long tether tape because we have no way of getting back.
Let me give it some thought.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll just hang out.
Thank you for coming to Stage Screen and In Between with Helen on the Moon and Fran Capo.
Ta-da! Thank you. I love this. This is so fun.
Must be hard to get a date here.
I know. So let's see.
It's so fast, beautiful. Does my outfit clash? I'm glad that
Clash
I'm
with the moon, I think it looks very good. Yeah, not even cold.
No,
I like this. It's very good.
And you know what? I gained a little weight, so there's no problem with the weight.
Exactly, because you should like a
Thank goodness.
Mama, 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 baba, 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 dang, 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 a ding, a ding, dang, boom, 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 baba, da, da, boom, 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 dang, 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 boom, 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 dang, 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 mama, 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 baba, 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 dang, 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 ding, dang, dang, boom, 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 baba, da, da, boom, 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 baba, da, da, boom, boom. Mama, mama, baba, 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 dang, 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 ding, dang, dang, boom, 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 baba, da, da,